the preliminary bomber of Arado E 470. With the Fernkamp Flugzeug competition in the process of being rerun, Arado was asked to provide an independent assessment of just how feasible it was to build an extremely large aircraft for transatlantic operations. The result was Project E470. Arado was a little different from the other German aircraft manufacturers, where the likes of Heinkel, Messerschmitt and Focke-Wulf remained private concerns even during wartime. Arado had been a wholly owned tool of the Nazi state since 1936. The previous owner, Heinrich Lubb, had been forced to hand over his firm after refusing to join the Nazi Party. Thereafter the state poured huge sums into Arado, transforming it into a pliable and egoless in-house manufacturer for the government. In practice, this meant that Arado spent much of its time and effort building the designs of other companies. It also meant that whenever the private companies failed or the government felt that they could not be trusted, Arado was there to act as a fallback. Junkers was also a government brand, but where Arado had been pumped up from relatively humble beginnings, Junkers had been a vast concern beforehand and managed to retain some of its original character. Following the embarrassing failure of the original 1940-41 long-range bomber competition, the RLM realized that its own experts knew too little about what was possible and what problems might arise in the design and construction of extremely large aircraft. Therefore, Arado was tasked with carrying out some research on the subject ahead of the contractor's due date for their revised long-range aircraft proposals in the spring of 1942. It was particularly asked to look at whether large transport aircraft might reasonably be converted for use as bombers. The resulting report, Analysis of the Design of a Large Transport Aircraft, Project E470, was broken down into three areas: an analysis of structures and weights, an examination of range and endurance potential, and some suggestions for preliminary projects. The analysis of structures and weights tried to work out how values such as area loading, power loading, and stress classification changed when you took a 16-ton aircraft design and then scaled it up to 120 tons. Different component weight groups, such as engines, undercarriage, and structural strengthening, were examined at different points along the overall weight curve to see. Video is in. See you in a next video. Thanks for watching and subscribe.